Left. Okay, we always leave. You leave a job, you leave a toxic relationship, you will leave a particular. We are always moving towards something or away from something. Okay, so when you're moving away from something or when you're moving towards something, that process of just reminding yourself that this is what we are moving towards or this is what we are moving away from. Now, those are the rituals. And me personally, I have many rituals that I do, you know, from dancing.
Yes.
To, you know, I carry out libations a lot. I just carry out, there are movements I make as well. There are walks I do. Like, I just have so many things that I do according to, you know, how my body is leading me. But my main ritual that this one I've practiced ever since I was a kid. And for the longest time, I did not know why I was doing it. Every time I was sick, every time I felt sick or uneasy, my body would always tell me to go sleep in the sun, in the scorching sun. And my mom, when I was young, my mom used to have a problem with this, so I would hide from her. I would go sleep in the scorching sun somewhere else. So this, after learning biology, is when I realized how it works. Like, sometimes the sun has the capability of taking, you know, things osmotic or through osmosis, like literally draining toxicity from your blood, like literally through osmosis, the way it is draining you moisture from the ground. You comprehend? And a lot of diseases, they thrive in moisture. So there's a way that works. So that's a ritual I always do up to today. Nowadays, now I do it confidently. But when I was young, my mom used to have a problem so much with it. But I did it always. Every time I was sick, I would go and lie down in the scorching sun until my body would burn. Wow. And then I would always feel better after that, like always, even up to today. So those are some of the things that I do.
It's funny. One of my rituals since I was young is writing. When I'm angry, get the paper and just write it out. Literally, I still do it to today. So for me, writing was always the ritual that helped me manage emotions. It was always the one that I did. And then dance and writing were the two things since I was young that I've always done. And I didn't know why, but I realized when I stopped dancing and writing, that's when I realized I said I didn't recognize myself, because I had stopped dancing, I had stopped writing. And they were the two of the rituals I'd always done since I was young. And then when I had stopped doing them, I was like, who are you? You don't dance, you don't write.
Yeah.
What's going on here? So yeah. So we know, like you said, our bodies, we do things from when we're young that we know, and we do it because our body tells us to do it. Then adults are like, why are you doing that? Stop it. And then you listen to them and you stop it. And then you lose yourself because you're not doing what naturally you.
Exactly. The body always knows. Yes. The body always knows. And when we trust it, it's and most of the time you have to make sure that it is your energies only, because sometimes when you have other energies in your energy field, those ones can also influence your decision making. This is why we recommend spiritual cleansing, spiritual cleanliness, because cleanliness is next to godliness. So always just being clean of your own energies and always making sure that, okay, right now I'm not compromised. Those are the times you make the best decisions.
Is that what they call intuition?
Intuition. Yeah. Literally, it is, because intuition can be compromised by energies, especially when something is plugged into you. You know, there's so much connection between microscopic organisms and the microscopic energies that people send. So imagine if you have an earthworm in your energy field, like right now you have an earthworm or you have some parasite inside your energy field. It affects you. It affects the way you make decisions. It affects the way you look at life. And the moment you extract it from your energy field, then you become just you, and now you're not compromised. Yes.
Wow. And some of what we're sharing, I love it. I absolutely love it. You know,
Me too.
I even as part of my my shadow work, I because when I was younger, I didn't see characters in books that reflected me. And you know, because we have that now, it's growing more and more. There's some amazing books with some beautiful, absolutely beautiful illustrations. And I mean, the other day I went and I brought a book that I was supposed to give that to one of my niece's daughters. I've still got it because I'm reading it. I just, oh my God, seriously.
That is so cute.
I'm stealing from that book. I might not be able to give it to
You might buy her one. You're gonna have to buy another one, right?
Sorry.
It's your inner child that you bought it for.
The inner child.
Yeah.
So, talking about the inner child, because a lot of people now talking about the inner child, you have to heal the inner child. Is that part of the process as well of healing, like connecting with the inner child?
Inner child is just I want to give you an illustration. When the rain is pouring, the rain before it touches the ground, it is very pure. It is very pure. That is the same way we are. When we come from our ancestral line, when we come from the beyond, when we come from the dark to the light, we're very pure. Until you know this rain, some of them fall in the river, some of them fall in the sewages. You know, some rain droplets, they fall back into the ocean, back to source. Some rain droplets, some fall in the desert, you know. So look at ourselves like that as well. When we are children, we fall into people fall into different, you don't know where a child is born. You know, you don't know what is going on with that family. And you people know, you know how dark some dark families are, you know how light some families are. So people fall into different situations and circumstances. And so before you fall into that particular circumstances, because the moment you fall into it, it changes your color. It changes your color. So before it changes your color, you get a chance to experience yourself as a child. That's why, you know, children are very disconnected from their families when they're young, because you get to experience yourself as just your energy before you get colored with the background of that particular family. Now you going back, transcending that color, you know, the color, all of us are colored, and those colors are necessary because now that is what shapes you to be useful to the planet. Where you come from, depending on where you come from, that is what shapes you to be useful to the planet. But now you holding on to your identity before that color. that is the inner child, you know, your identity before that color, before the color was brought, before you got colored with the world, with the society that you're born into and stuff like that. Like you people, you guys are in the UK as we are in Kenya, totally different societies, totally different ways of thinking, totally different. So people get born into different things, but then we have that purity that connects us all before we are all colored. So that is the inner child. That is the true you. That is your purest form of energy. And so connecting to it is connecting to the world, literally, because it is the only connection you have to the world. This other color, you are not, because I did not grow up in the UK. I might not understand your grievances. I did not grow up in your type of family. I might not get your grievances. But now what keeps us together is what? The child. My child recognizes your child, recognizes her child. And that is the connection that we have with one another. Yes. Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes, it's been interesting. Probably got about 10 minutes left, right?
Yeah.
we could go on for like all night at this rate, but you know, we got to get you sleepy to words, but yes.
Yeah. I'm just glad. And now that we're talking about this, maybe something that I wanted to mention to you guys is, you know, the relationship between the African diaspora and us.
Yes.
You comprehend. I feel like there's so much tension, even up to this particular point. There's so much tension in our interaction because I see the way we interact with each other online and blah, blah, blah. I feel like there's so much tension, and this tension is brought from the fact that we don't understand, we don't understand each other. We come from really, it goes back to this purity that I'm talking about, like the way we were dropped. We dropped into totally, you guys were dropped into the other side of the ocean as we are on this other side, you know, so you pick up on the trauma of the history of the people from there, and us, we pick from this side. So I feel like we are so much alike. And I feel like we love each other so much, but then there's just so much also difference that we have between us. And I am really looking forward to a future where we can bridge the gap, because literally there's things you have that we need. There's things that the African diaspora have that we need, and there's things that we have that you need from us. And sometimes we don't even need to talk about these things. Sometimes we don't even need to talk about these things.
Oh, we've lost Siri. I think her connection dropped, so we have to wait for her to come back. And been some interesting talk that Siri has been dropping for us, some gems. You know, how to, you know, get in tune back with your body, how to. I love the concept of the inner child and the raindrops. But yes, we have Siri back with us. She is back. Technology, you know, that's technology for you. That's what happens. You know.
There you go.
It likes to do those little gremlins. Hey, so hey.
I don't know what happened.
That's okay. We know technology, that happens. You know, the gremlins. Technology gremlins. But yeah, no, you're saying about, I hear you about the diaspora, and that's part of the healing the trauma, how we in the diaspora and on the continent can work together, because strength in numbers, there's strength in numbers, and if we came together better, we would heal ourselves as a community, because you know we're so disjointed that you know that's what it is. I mean, my parents are from Ghana. And I've been going to Ghana since I was a baby. I stayed there. So for me, Ghana's home. So I love when I love going to Ghana. You know, and I love actually I stopped in Kenya on my way to Ghana the other time. Actually, I did stop. But next time when I'm stopping in Kenya, but I'm coming at the airport and going to visit and then go to Ghana. But yeah, so but I notice the difference. You know, when I go, kind of go, and I have to humble myself. Because sometimes I think when we come from diaspora and we go to the continent, we can come with an attitude where we're not always humble. You know, we get there, we're not always humble, and sometimes the experience is so different. For if you've never been to visited a country in Africa and you go, it's so overwhelming, because the images that we get told here and the images when you get there are so different. And if everything's coming from a young age, you don't know that it's not what they've told us. It's different. It's I always said, when I used to go to Ghana and come back, I felt so proud of being Black. It helped me be so proud of my Africanness, because, you know, you're seeing people in high positions, you're just seeing more, and you'll come back, and then you come back here and you suddenly go,
those are the things that we need. Those are the things that we need to, those are the gaps that we need to bridge. We need to create spaces that we can interact with each other, so that we get to a point where now there's no big difference. Like if somebody tells you they are African American, there's no big difference, because you know, you can take an African out of the continent, but you will never take the continent out of an African. And we have that. We have that. And I feel like there's so much here that what I wanted to say was, we will not even need to speak. Sometimes just interaction, sometimes just a hug, sometimes just being in someone's presence will literally give you answers of your genetic material that you had no idea. So just facilitating this movement. And I think this is the reason why the colonizer did not want us to interact. This barrier that we have between each other, we even have it here in Africa. Like there's Africans who are Kenyan, you know, Ugandan. And you know, in the past, there was nothing like Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania. We were only, you know, language groups, the Bantus, the Niloites, the Kushites, the Semites. But nowadays, like people, these boundaries that we are creating that are mental are the ones that we break. So that when we meet, because literally we look the same, we behave the same, even if we try to deny it, we are the same in so many levels and in so many ways that we just need to accept. Yeah.
Even like the foods that we eat, the clothing, how we move, everything you can
How
go
we
to
talk,
we
our
talk,
attitude.
it's the same, you know, you can have you can be in a room with another black person and you can do that facial expression and you instantly know, no conversation, and you know that look, you know that. So we are so similar, but our differences are also great, but our similarities are also, and technology has helped get rid of some of the boundaries, but then the mental, you know, the mental ones are the ones we have to break
and
down.
the genetic,
and
genetic remembrance. We need that.
And I think that will go towards the healing in our community that we need, because that division, that divide and conquer that they did has worked so well on us that we haven't been able to, because you'll hear black people don't unite. Yeah, we do. It's our DNA to be united and to be connected to the community. We do community, we do communion, we do family, we do it
deeply.
So deeply. But because we believe in the lie that we don't unite, we believe it. Oh, I'm not from there. I'm
what you believe you manifest.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we have to get around it. So, you know, I do believe it's part of that, you know, healing process of us coming together in the diaspora and coming together on the continent, and whichever way we can do it, all of us we all have a role to play in doing it.
And we're getting there. We're getting there.
We're getting there.
Yeah, there was that 24-hour period that you were talking about, where you talked about 24 hours in a day. You talked about 24. Oh my gosh! I think you were describing the change.
Yeah, the changes
on a miniature level and a larger level, or something like that.
Yes.
But I guess it's what I'm referring to also, that time of change, because things have to change.
Yeah, they have to.
And it is.
Yeah.
I could see it.
And
I could see it in front of my eyes. It's happening so fast.
Yeah, it's happening so fast. Regarding, like, when you look at how long people have waited and the rate at which it is happening, it is so fast. Some people cannot even comprehend. Like, there are people who get goosebumps every day. The things that we thought, and that is why I'm telling you, where energy grows so fast. It just needs people to believe. And the moment you believe it, you believe it today and tomorrow it's on. You believe it today and tomorrow it's on. So
I mean, just look at how big Afrobeats is, because I've been at my family, like, they used to like do high life. We just used to play high life. Like, high life was just within ourselves. But I mean, yesterday BBC One had a show they've got called Sewing Bee, where they made them sew West African clothing. They were so and playing Afrobeats on BBC during this program. And I'm going, can you imagine? They're making them make African fabric, making it into an outfit and playing Afrobeats. You would never have had that, like, never. This is BBC One, like, this is. So I'm watching this going, I need to watch it again, because I was like, I was in awe, going, wow, look how far we come. Because back in the day, you couldn't play African music.
Come on.
You couldn't wear
even us, we are Africans, but here in the continent, to look cool, you had to say, I don't listen to African music. Because if you told people I listen to African music, it was sort of like, you're not cool, you're so backward and stuff. But look at how much that is flipping.
It's amazing. Fella would be so proud right now, you know, or the Afrobeats. Great to be so happy that Afrobeats is so in everything. Like, even you go past a shop, you hear an Afrobeat song, and, you know, even clothing now, African fabric is, people are wearing it, you know, and things that we do, you know, even some of the alternative health things that everyone now does, first African, we were doing it before. Our ancestors did it, you know, and they're doing it like it's all cool, you know, it's cool to do this. Like, we did it, we do it. So we're kind of coming to the end, and I mean, we don't want to end this conversation, obviously, because it's amazing. But what lasting words would you give our attendees? Like, what message do you want to give them, and also give them your in your TikTok, Instagram handles as well? So
First of all, I will say, I wouldn't even want to give them the pressure of, but who wants to look for me? My name is Swiry Nyar Kano. But most of the time I say when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And that is how I usually literally appear to my audience and stuff like that. One thing that I would love to tell everybody who's come to this particular festival is that I would have loved to come. I would have loved to be there to just hug every person in person. But I know that is going to happen. I know that will happen soon. And also keep the community within yourself. Within yourself. In Africa, we have something called Tiama. Tiama. In the Kikuyu land, it's the Council of Elders. And there's the Council of Elders outside of you that you can have, your mentors and mentees and blah. But then there's the Council of Elders that is within you. There's always a Council of Elders within. And if you are not in alignment with them, they bully you most of the time, and your life is not that great. Because the moment you're living with people who bully you inside your own head, it is the worst. So work on having a relationship with your inner Kiama. Work on gossiping more with your inner Kiama than you gossip outside. Work on having conversations more with your inner Kiama than you have outside. Work on telling your inner Kiama your plans. Work on celebrating with them. Work on appreciating them. Work on loving them more than you do on your outside world, because you can only do it on the outside if you do it on the inside. And most of the time, your obligation is not the outside. You cannot change the world outside unless you change the world within. And the moment you change yourself, and the moment you solve these issues, these blockages that you have in your mind, these conflicts that you have in your mind, the moment you solve it in your own brain, you have solved it for the entire collective, for your entire bloodline, in the past and in the future. Once you solve the things in your own life, you've solved it up to infinity. And so I would love to encourage everybody who comes to this particular drum festival, work on your relationship with yourself first. Don't worry about the relationship outside. Those take care of themselves. But you cannot control the things outside of you. You can only control the ones inside of you. Yes, that is all I would love to tell you. Develop the relationship with yourself. Love yourself more than you love anything. Adore yourself. Worship yourself more than you worship anything outside of you. And trust your body. It knows the way to infinity. That's it.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
So come to the end. Thank you so much for your time to come and share this wisdom and this knowledge with the attendees that are going to come to the festival next week. And it's been amazing. It's been it's been enlightening. It's been inspirational.
I love it.
Oh my gosh. So thank you so much. We're gonna pause the recording now.
I just wanted to say thank you also. We appreciate you, and let's do it again.
Yes, we will. Definitely.
All right, sis. Thanks so
Thank
much.
you for having me as well. Thank you for having me, and I manifest more of such interactions in the future.
Thank you,
sis.
All right.
Bye.
Forward ever, backward never.
Okay.